The family of my son-in-law pushed my daughter into the lake, but they didn't know my brother. The scream didn't sound human. It tore across the lake like fabric ripping in half, sharp enough to slice the quiet summer evening clean down the middle. Birds exploded from the reeds. The wind itself seemed to freeze. Then came the splash. I was halfway down the old wooden dock before my mind caught up with my body. My shoes thudded over sun-bleached planks. The world narrowed to one terrible truth. Someone was in the water, and I knew, without knowing how, that it was my daughter. The visit. If you had asked me 1 year ago what my biggest fear was, I would have said something sensible like losing my job or my eyesight. I would not have said, my daughter marrying into a family that smiles too much. But there had always been something wrong with Daniel's family. Too polished, too rehearsed, like actors who never quite left the stage. His mother, Patricia, had a way of watching people that wasn't really watching, more like evaluating. His father, Leonard, laughed the loudest when everyone else had already gone quiet. And his sister, Camilla, perfectly dressed, perfectly mannered, always positioned herself like she wanted to be in the best light for a photograph. Still, my daughter loved Daniel, and Daniel, quiet, charming, soft-spoken, seemed nothing like them. So when they suggested a family bonding weekend at our old lake house, I did what mothers do. I ignored my instincts. They arrived with matching luggage, matching smiles and matching sweaters. My daughter Emily looked radiant, sun-kissed skin, light summer dress fluttering around her knees. She ran into my arms. "Mom, isn't this just perfect?" Perfect. The word scratched across my nerves like chalk on stone. The push. We had dinner on the deck, fairy lights hanging between the beams like captured stars. The wine flowed, stories were told, laughter bounced off the lake. Then, somewhere between dessert and coffee, Patricia clasped her hands together. "Shall we show them the trust game?" she asked. "Trust game?" Camilla squealed. "Oh yes, we always do this on family trips." Daniel shifted uncomfortably. "Maybe we don't." But Emily smiled. "Come on, Danny, it'll be fun." They led us down to the dock. The moon floated on the black surface of the water, broken only by ripples. The air smelled like pine sap and summer. "Okay," Patricia said sweetly. "We stand behind you and you fall back, trust exercise. We'll catch you. We always catch our own." Our own. Something in my stomach turned. "I'll go first," Emily laughed, stepping forward. I opened my mouth. But Patricia was already moving. So was Leonard. So was Camilla. 3 sets of hands. 1 gentle nudge. Too gentle to be called force. Too deliberate to be an accident. And my daughter fell backward into the lake. The silence after the splash. The splash echoed. Then nothing. No one screamed. No one jumped. No one even leaned forward. Except me. I ran. Behind me, Patricia sighed. "Oh, honestly, she'll be fine. It's shallow, builds character." Shallow. My lake wasn't shallow. Not where they'd pushed her. I reached the edge and saw only circles spreading wider and wider. No head breaking the surface. No gasp. No cry. No Emily. The water closed in on itself like a secret. "It's my brother. You should know something about my brother. He is the kind of man people underestimate. Quiet, calm, often mistaken for harmless. He lives alone on the far side of the lake, in a cabin the colour of old bark, with a dog that loves him more than oxygen. To the world he is eccentric. To me he is unshakable. And he knows this lake better than it knows itself. He had joined us that evening, sitting silently near the railing sipping tea instead of wine. When Emily hit the water, he didn't shout. He simply stood, removed his shoes, and dove. No hesitation, no drama. Just precision, like a blade slipping into water. The truth about the lake. The lake is beautiful, but beneath the surface, it is a labyrinth. Old tree trunks sleep in the depths, sudden shelves drop into blackness, tangled weeds clutch at ankles like desperate hands. And there is one place, a deep bowl carved long ago by something ancient, where the water darkens to ink. No one swims there. No one. Except my brother. He disappeared under the surface. Patricia checked her watch. Camilla yawned. Leonard said, "Well, that was unfortunate." Unfortunate. My pulse roared in my ears. "Why didn't you catch her?" I demanded. Patricia tilted her head. She should have trusted us more. "That isn't," my voice broke. "That isn't a game." "She married into our family," Leonard said, voice cool. "Trust is not optional." Daniel said nothing. His face was white. The surface breaks. Seconds became minutes. I leaned forward, scanning the water so hard my eyes burned. Then, movement. Two figures broke the surface with a gasp loud enough to tear the sky. Emily clung to my brother, coughing, shaking, hair plastered to her face. He guided her to the dock ladder, hands steady. Her voice trembled. Moms, they pushed me. I panicked, I thought. I wrapped my arms around her. "You're okay," I whispered, even though she clearly was. My brother climbed up after her, dripping and silent. He looked at Daniel's parents. And smiled. It wasn't a kind smile. The second game. Patricia clapped slowly. "Well done," she said, "now she's learned." My brother's eyes glinted. "Learned what?" "That she belongs to us now," Leonard replied. "And belonging requires surrender. We pushed Daniel into that lake once too, and Camilla, it's symbolic. Survival proves loyalty." My hands shook. "You could have killed her." Patricia waved a lazy hand. "If she can't handle a little water." "It wasn't shallow," my brother said softly. "You pushed her into the trench." Camilla shrugged. "Oops." My brother took a step toward them. Another. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't threaten. He simply said, "Your turn." Unmasking. They laughed at first. Then they realized he wasn't joking. Daniel spoke for the first time. "Mom, Dad, enough." Patricia rolled her eyes. "Daniel, don't be dramatic." "No," he said, voice shaking. "I'm done pretending. You don't get to control my wife. You don't get to test people like toys. You don't get to decide who belongs and who drowns." Silence fell. My brother folded his arms, into the lake. Leonard snorted. "You wouldn't dare." My brother turned his gaze toward the trench, a black mouth in the water, endless and waiting. "This lake doesn't forget," he said. "It keeps what it's owed." They didn't understand the meaning. But I did. Years ago, a local boy had died there, pushed. By other boys. Boys who thought it was funny. One of them had been Leonard. The lake had never given that child back. My brother had never forgotten. Confessions. Camilla's voice cracked for the first time. "Daddy, what's he talking about?" Leonard stiffened, old story, irrelevant. My brother's voice cut through the night like frost. "You killed him." "It was an accident," Leonard snapped. "You pushed him." Silence swallowed us. The wind picked up, whispering through the reeds. The lake lapped at the dock. Daniel whispered, "Dad." Patricia's mask slipped. "Leonard, let's go." But my brother stepped aside, blocking the only way off the dock. "No," he said, "we don't leave, not yet." His calm was scarier than shouting. Much scarier. The reckoning. He didn't touch them. He didn't have to. Words are powerful tools. "You think fear is loyalty," he said softly. "You think obedience means love. You test people to see who breaks, never questioning what that makes you." Leonard swallowed hard. Patricia's smile trembled. Camilla's eyes glistened. "And tonight," my brother continued, "you decided to test the wrong lake." The water around the dock churned. Was it the wind? The current? My imagination? Or something else entirely? They backed away from the edge. For the first time. They were afraid of falling. Good. The choice. My brother stepped toward them. "Jump," he said. "No," Patricia whispered. "Jump," he repeated. We could drown, Camilla cried. Yes, he replied simply, you could. Daniel spoke quietly, they won't do it. My brother nodded. I know. Then he looked at Emily. At least now you see. And I did. Control disguised as love. Cruelty wrapped in tradition. Manipulation masked as family values. They had nearly killed my child and expected applause. But the lake refused them. Leaving the dock. We walked off the dock together, my daughter wrapped in blankets, my brother's arm steady around her shoulders, Daniel trailing behind us, the weight of truth heavy in every step. Behind us, Daniel's family argued in frantic whispers. They did not follow. They never visited again. Not the next week. Not the next year. Not ever. Daniel later told us he cut ties completely. They screamed, they threatened, they begged. But he didn't bend. Because love isn't control. And loyalty isn't proven through harm. Healing. Emily had nightmares for months. Sometimes she woke gasping, water in her lungs that wasn't really there. Sometimes she cried without knowing why. But healing is like the lake at dawn, slow, gentle, patient. She stopped apologizing for having boundaries. She stopped shrinking herself to fit into someone else's expectations. She learned the difference between family and ownership. Daniel learned too. He apologized, not with words first, but with actions. Therapy, distance, time, respect, real trust. The kind you build, not the kind you shove off a dock. My brother and the lake. My brother visits often. He sits by the shore with his dog and stares across the water like it's an old friend that's seen too much. Sometimes I think the lake talks back. Not in words, but in ripples, in wind, in silence. And sometimes I wonder if it remembers that boy. If somewhere deep below, his story still moves in the dark. But I do know this. It remembers what's true. And it never forgets what people are capable of. Neither do I. Moral of the story. Real family doesn't test your loyalty through fear, pain, or control. Love never demands you prove your worth by surviving harm. Set boundaries, protect your peace, and remember, trust is earned through kindness, not fear.